Hello, everyone. Welcome to Artistically Married, where art and opportunity collide. We're your hosts, Jake Ackerman.
And Brienne Steinberg.
Today we have CD and Onofrio with us.
Yeah,
Hello.
very, 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 very dear friend.
That's right.
Yeah, we've been friends since high school.
Oh, yeah.
Pre-high school?
No.
Damn. I felt like, I guess I'm just like swirling all the time periods together because I was thinking about like partying with Nick Rogers. And I was like, I knew him in grade 8, right? No.
I'm
Also high school.
I met all the Catholic school folks at high school.
What does that mean? Oh, 'cause you went to public school?
Battlefield when I moved to Niagara Falls, so I was on the wrong side of the tracks.
Where were you born?
I was born in London, Ontario.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And raised in southern Ohio, and I say I'm from the Great Lakes Basin to the Appalachian foothills.
Amazing.
Cool.
Yeah, literally we were about to, I think two things. One, I feel so comfortable with podcasting now that I'm like, yeah, any guest, anytime, let's do this. It could be on the fly. So for our listeners, we pivoted because we were missing the other two members of Sea Gold and Burgundy, the band that CD is in. Also good friends of high school. But yeah, my first thought was, oh, this, no problem. Me and CD can shoot the shit forever. And my second thought was, I don't know anything about you.
I know. It's like we just party together. And I mean, I know where you grew up and your parents. And
Yeah.
but yeah, we're going to record our getting to know each other.
Yeah, I
conversation.
literally said that. I was like, I think this is going to be like the first time, we sit down, and I think that's what I love about the podcast is that it is intentional conversations instead of just, ships passing in the night, people just like knowing of each other instead of it being acquaintances. It ends up like, really getting deep into, especially people's history. And I remember, I think me and you were it was after you had moved back here. For like the fourth time. Did you end up going to school at Western too?
Mm-hmm.
Were you in that Western group when I was visiting and hanging out with all your friends?
Yeah.
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 So I think we were at Camp Cathartic and we had like hung back out after like years of not seeing each other. And yeah, there are all these things you were like, yeah, I lived in the States and I went to school here. And like, so yeah, I feel like
this
I didn't.
is post-COVID.
This is post-COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you had come back to Niagara. That's crazy. So you were born in London.
Born in London, raised in Athens, Ohio. So I got worldly cities, but the duplicates of them. Born in London, raised in Athens.
Oh, yeah.
Both of them in North America.
Both of them in North America. And there's like
Hilarious.
25 Athens in the U.S. And there's probably a host of Londons.
All over the world. Amazing.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And then I moved to Niagara Falls when I was 12. And then I've been
cool.
back and forth from here.
What were your parents doing that they were moving you?
So my parents, my family originally moved here, and this was before I was born. They moved here as a conscientious protest to the Vietnam War. So I've got older sisters. My brother and I are like a second generation. My dad was a university chaplain at the time, and the phone bills were being taxed, and the tax was supporting the Vietnam War. And he didn't want to support the Vietnam War. He managed to get a position, I believe, in Calgary, in either Edmonton or Calgary. He worked in both places. And that was the first time my family moved to Canada for political reasons. And then, so my sisters were raised in Alberta, and then they moved to London, Ontario. He was a chaplain at the University of Western Ontario. That's where I was born. And then the reason we moved to Ohio was now the late 80s, Vietnam was over, and my mom said it's my turn to choose where we live, and that's where her mother, my grandmother, lived. So really lovely place to grow up. Brick roads, little league, like basically my grandma was making apple pie. I was living the American dream childhood.
That's amazing.
And then I came to Niagara Falls.
Da, da, da.
And went to an elementary school that shared a fence with a strip club.
What? Oh, elementary.
So Battlefield School shares a fence with mince.
Oh
And
my
so
That's right.
I've just never been able to
God.
figure it out. Like what came first?
How the real estate ended up in that
How
scenario.
did the city like approve that? How
Yeah.
did that happen?
Yeah.
Like what came first? It doesn't really matter, but somebody had to say like, yeah, this is fine.
Yeah.
So we were like sneaking in at lunchtime, trying to go into the strip club.
Come on.
It's like, oh, this is like, you know, like
This is a fine establishment right
right.
here.
And I feel like the reputation is like the U.S., which it is in a broad scale, like the violent place, like the rougher place. But for me, it was like coming from a quaint little village town.
Yeah.
To go into downtown
to like
Niagara Falls.
ruffians and stuff, and like, okay, this is like a new reality.
So
But-
crazy. And then did your dad get a ministry job here too?
In Buffalo and in Western New York, yeah.
Wow.
So-
Again, feel like I know nothing about you.
Right, and again, like he preferred the political climate in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
He was getting older, and he had applied for citizenship at some point, and then so the universal health care was appealing to him, and then at that point when I moved, the U.S. had just come out of the Gulf Wars, which later got amplified. So a lot of he just liked the politic of being in Canada a bit better, you know.
I don't want to like lead you into this next question, but like knowing you, I guess, foregoing after high school, how did that influence you? Like him being so, you know, obviously vocal to the point where he's like moving his family in and out of scenarios that don't sit well to him or don't sit well with him. How did that influence kind of your ideas of political? Because I don't want to lead you into your answer, but knowing the way you are so passionate about freedom and free thought and togetherness and community building, you know, how did that affect your political views?
I think it's true for most people that whatever family that you're raised in is going to influence your political views to some extent. You know, some people push back, and that's their response. It's being like, okay, I disagree with this.
Mm-hmm.
But generally, yeah, I agree with the politics of my parents. I mean, even to the point, like I was a catalyst for a group called the Perpetual Peace Project. And it used to be the case, like when I was a kid, my mom would say, oh, I don't want anything for my birthday. I just want world peace. And then Aaron, my bandmate's uncle, he said the same thing for Christmas. And I'm just like, oh, wouldn't it be great to actually honor that and try to figure out a way to actually make the conditions for peacefulness happen. So definitely my dad's political thought surely influenced me. He always wore a beard, and we would bug him as kids, and we'd say, Dad, we want to see you without your beard. And he said, I'll shave my beard when there's peace in the Middle East. And like when we're kids, they sign an accord, and we're like, Dad, there's peace in the Middle East. And he's just like, wait a little bit. And then, you know, the situation there is as bad as it's ever been. So in my lifetime. So he's
never shaved the beard.
Never shaved. Well, okay, so recently his beard got shaved. He was in long-term care. He just passed recently.
Yeah.
He was in long-term care. And they called my sister, and his beard was getting long. And they said, she thought they said, can we trim his beard? They ended up shaving his beard, and this was like a couple days after October 7th. So the flare-up of violence in the Middle East, it was
its highest,
craziest,
it was
horriblest. Devastating for me. So that's the only time I've seen my dad without a beard, and it was just devastating. It was like, oh my God.
It's the wrong time.
Yeah, so I mean, I ended up writing a letter to the staff and kind of explaining his stance, because at that time he couldn't speak to explain himself. He had Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, you know, I think, you know what, I'm going to adopt that. I'm not going to shave my beard until there's peace in the Middle East.
You heard it here first, guys. This is happening.
And if a job comes calling and says, you know, you need to shave your beard for this position, I'm going to refer to the Artistically Married podcast.
There you go.
It's on the record.
I've signed a contract.
It's contractual.
Yeah.
It's on a podcast.
Yeah.
What can I do? Everything on a podcast is contractual, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
100%. It's as good as in writing.
But yeah, as far as carrying that legacy, like I think a lot of what he was about, I'm for.
Yeah.
And
It's some great messages.
I think so too. That'd be funny to go against like an anti-war ideology, like war's great, Dad. I'm joining the army. Like,
yeah, that wasn't my bent, but yeah, that would be that's the other alternative.
Ridiculous.
Like,
Yeah.
you know what? I'm gonna pledge more of my taxes to the
So ridiculous.
to the U.S.
Yeah, we try to just avoid politics altogether because I feel like it can just be so daunting, you know. I know it's being slightly ignorant, but on air we try to just avoid it because, you just feel hopeless when you're up against
There's
it.
no room for despair.
No.
There's no room for despair.
Yeah.
We got to be
Can't
stronger.
despair in times like this.
Yeah.
It's not an option.
You
Despair
hear
is
it
not an
everywhere.
option.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's nice to talk about the good things in life.
Yeah. You mentioned the Perpetual Peace Project, the PPP. I think you're the third or fourth guest that has brought it up, but you're right. You were like the original innovator. So can you kind of give our listeners, I think anytime it got mentioned on the episode or on the podcast, the guest was just like, oh, it was the best time. You know, it was like bringing Niagara together 3 times. It's been mentioned. So do you want to just kind of give our listeners kind of a background, a little more in depth on that?
Yeah. So, the starting conditions of that was me coming into this philosophy of flow, and there's an idea of flow psychology that you've probably heard it around sports mostly. Like an athlete will get into the flow or get into the zone.
We've talked about it as like artists too.
Yeah,
flow
exactly.
state,
So there's this idea that doing certain activities, you can be fully immersed into the activity, kind of lose your sense of time, lose your sense of self, but it's really good. And this fellow was researching it. Mikhail Csikszentmihalyi is his name, and he wasn't researching flow. He was researching happiness, and he was doing a survey and giving people, it was beepers at the time, a beeper and saying, can you report how happy you are at any given moment? It'd be like a random thing. And then he started doing correlations with certain types of activities that people were reporting, okay, the happiest numbers while they were doing a specific set of activities. And then he found the common denominator was that these were all flow-inducing activities. And so I was reading this at the same time. Another artist who was on the show, Rod Standish, told me about his idea to have a musical jam that would last forever. So I'm like, okay.
Of course he would. He was one of the people who mentioned the PPP.
Right. So his idea, which as an artist, he's done all these things with space and time.
Yeah.
Like explorations. And initially, it didn't mean anything to me. I didn't even know what the word perpetuity meant. And I just kind of like nodded and kept walking. But then I started having these flow experiences with music, which were like, wow, this is so amazing. I'm completely immersed in the music. It doesn't even feel like I'm doing anything, but it feels great. And then I was like, what if we could have a project that would facilitate these sort of activities to go indefinitely? If the hypothesis is that people, us, we experience the most happiness with experiencing flow activities, what if we had a project that was dedicated towards creating flow activities? And there's a jam in perpetuity. That's music is where I'm finding that. So set it up as a jam. It's a continuous jam. The Peace Project part of it came from, the best way I've heard it said is by a fellow named A.J. Musty. He said, the goal is to create the conditions where war is impossible. And I relate that to being in those very immersive musical moments. And to think, like, I would never think of hating on anybody. I would never think of doing violence to people. And like, so the aim of the Perpetual Peace Project, this Perpetual Peace Project that stemmed from Niagara Falls, I call it a chapter because I learned in the process that there was a treatise written by a heavy German philosopher, Immanuel Kant, called the Perpetual Peace Project in the 1800s. So this was brought to my attention. And that was written more or less as a politic towards the negation of war. Whereas this was more of what would be called a positive. The hippy-dippy version is brotherly love, which I still believe in, even though I'm my age and I've witnessed everything that's going on.
Yeah.
I think that there's still a possibility of that. And so that I didn't know how to go about such a thing. So with the jam and perpetuity idea, I just said, well, let's just do it musically. Let's just jam.
Yeah.
And so we did.
Yeah, because
And-
Rod during that time was doing like some like 24-hour, right? Like he was doing some marathon jamming.
He did a 100-hour jam.
Oh my gosh.
He facilitated, like he was the
curator.
Yeah, he was kind of like the gravitational center, but there was a lot of musicians who streamed in and around. And at this time, we had already started going with the Perpetual Peace Project. So we had gathered a small troupe, and we called it the U Army. And so we had a troupe of musicians. And when Rod was doing the 100-hour jam, we streamed in and like we played support roles. And one of my favorite moments from that was we're at like hour 60 something, and Rod's playing electric guitar. And I see him leaning back on the couch, and then his foot goes up, and he's still playing. And I'm behind a drum kit, and I'm just gonna send him energy, and like so I start like creating a beat, but all my energy is just directed towards like, okay, gotta keep him awake. And then he kind of like, it seems like he's gonna doze off. And then he just stands up and goes into a guitar solo.
Oh my
It was
God.
incredible.
Just took a 5-second nap.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he got like 5 seconds of sleep and then was
Oh
back
my
into a
God.
guitar solo.
Amazing.
So yeah, I mean, he's definitely been the catalyst for kind of these long, or like I call him like a explorer of time and space.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, and I think you touched on like some really impactful things, which is, the flow state we've talked about. We've had like almost a whole podcast on it. And it really is a real thing for any artist that you tap into that like creative moment. So I've been building a lot on the dance studio, which feels like it's like a business thing. But when you get into like the development of a business, it ends up being a creative space. And I've had these like imageries of just being like in the center of a tornado, and the tornado's happening around you, and like you're just sitting so peacefully and calm, and like the energy that's coming into you that needs to is coming, and the energy that you need to push away from you is happening, and it's all just in this like cyclone, right? Of and again, I think it's like the imagery side of like a flow state where like nothing can touch you. You're not ever thinking bad thoughts because you're in this beautiful, perfect utopia moment in your head. And I think the second part that you touched on, which I love, is that it comes out of community. Typically, I mean, it can be an isolated by yourself state, but when you need that energy to pull from someone else and you need to pass on energy, or you're getting stuck, it's the community that kind of brings you back to that flow state, right? And that tornado, or like when you have all of a sudden you have 5 people inside your tornado, like the world could be exploding outside and you have no recognition of it because you're so protected in this flow state, right? With your community. So yeah, I think it's awesome.
it's like a completely balanced spot, even though the world is whirring around you.
Yeah.
In Buddhism, there's a word that I gathered called equanimity. So I break it down to like equal animation. So it's kind of like moving in balance.
Okay.
That's what comes to mind with like that center point, even in the whirling world.
Yeah.
Or a dervish, like the whirling dervishes.
Whirling dervishes. Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
holding that thing.
exactly.
You're bringing to mind a curiosity because the name of the studio is Infinite Motion.
Yeah.
And that was the symbol for the Perpetual Peace Project. And
Totally.
it kind of came about at around the same time. So I'm
Yeah.
curious about the name, what the story is.
Yeah. So my brother again, you're right. It all kind of happened at the same time. And I think we were within a community, we were all playing with this idea of like infinite possibilities, right? We were at that age, we were coming out of high school, we were all going into university. So like whether we were feeding off each other or not, but my brother ended up with a huge infinite tattoo on the side of him. And I think that just, again, when you see something like that on your only sibling, like he's my counterpart, right? To see that, I was just like, oh, that's so wild. Like an infinity forever, like something that never stops, never ends. And I think just, again, I was going through my own simultaneous journey with just the obsession. I mean, I was battling some horrible demons, but I was able to like find the truth and dance to like fix that, right? And again, it's that same thing, whether it's a external war scenario or an internal war tornado scenario. I think you really do have to find that like flow state where it keeps moving and it keeps going, and there's nothing like finite about the energy that you're going to feel, right? So I think that's kind of where my mind was for infinite motion.
So that's where you're finding your center, and that's where you're finding your kind of flow state. And
yeah, and I love, again, like you guys picked it as a symbol, but I love the idea that you keep coming back to that center position. So you're kind of in a feedback loop of like, you're getting stronger every time, the circuit's getting stronger and more like closely weaving, but it's never ending. And that's what your life feels like.
Right. So it's in motion. That's the motion part. It's not a still, like in the infinity logo. It's not a still point. It's
there's nowhere
looping.
Where it stops. It just keeps going.
Go to the balance to the right, balance to the left, but it'll keep coming back, kind of.
Yeah, for sure.
Like
yeah, and again, when it comes to movement, it's it's a lifelong journey to just keep moving. And I think now it's really cool. We're developing. We had Natalie on our podcast, and last week we were talking about it with John again. But we're developing these really like safe movement spaces. And I think we're like so powerful in Niagara that we're having this community that's coming together and doing dancing sober, which is, it's this like newfound flow state, because you don't need, I think a lot of times we were using, medicinal and molecules to get us into this flow state. So to come out of it and say, we can do this without anything, and it can be the molecule, right? It can be the art and the creativity can actually be what like is the catalyst for the perpetuity, if you know. So
it can be a sustainable form of that, whereas some of the kind of what we call unhealthy coping, they might feel good for a bit, but it becomes unsustainable, whether it be for your health or for community health,
right? Yeah, especially like as we get older, right? Like it becomes more difficult to I can't drink that much anymore, I'll die.
Right. Yeah. As far as I practice ecstatic dance, and like I tend to look at it as spontaneous body movement.
Yeah.
And I've found, because in my day job role is typically as a counselor, a spiritual care counselor in institutional facilities, so nursing facilities or hospitals, and I can be in quite intense situations. And one of the things that for me, doing body movement has been the most effective way to kind of process those heavy energies. Like, and it sounds like you had that experience.
Totally.
Kind of battling heavier energies, and just being able to move through it, I found to be one of the most effective things, like even more effective than music, in moving things through me.
Wild. Yeah, I think, again, we all go through whatever we go through in our life. And I think finding any tool is like really powerful. I think we're learning more and people are coming out of the woodwork. And it's such a subjective thing, because I don't know how you feel and I don't know how I feel. I just have like a testimony, right, of how I feel. But I think we are kind of coming out of the woodwork with these like empathic individuals, people that are like really tapped into like emotion. And how heavy it feels to them, like how, we're dealing with tons of mental health and depression. And so people are able to like now express the fact that they're feeling these super big feelings. And that only gets you so far. Yes, there's like, that first step, which is like talking about it and identifying it and, expressing it. But then there has to be this like therapeutic part where we have to figure out how to push past it. I'm glad we're not our parents' generation that just shoved all the emotion down. We're able to say it out loud, but then where do we go from there? How do we find these like therapeutic methods that are, like we said, they're in flow, or they last forever. They're like, something that you can't take away from an individual, that it becomes like a forever coping mechanism. So I think, dancing and infinite motion and music, all the creative outlets, I think we're going to see come to like real fruition at like a, not pop culture, but like a Main Street, we're going to see it as like a mainstream therapy method.
Cultural form.
Yeah. Our parents were just drinking themselves to death. Like, we're not going to do that. We're going to, go to like a clean, creative space to like heal ourselves and heal the community.
Where the goal is moving through these emotions and still moving. Like, not, because it can be even, we brought up the politics can feel sometimes debilitating. It can make you feel like you're overwhelmed, and then you don't even move. You just kind of stand still or feel stuck. So to actually,
and
to
even
actually
just
move
the cell
through
phones, right? Like, we're just staring at them. We're not moving at all.
Very addictive.
So addictive.
It's insane.
I know. It's so hard because we see simultaneously with all this like growth and development and people like, identifying things and moving in the direction, in the positive direction, that we simultaneously have our stupid cell phones.
Yeah. I had a mentor, he was a poet, and he would force everybody who was visiting him to put their cell phones into the other room.
Oh, I love that so much.
He would say, we're trying to have a conversation. You're going to let 1 billion people come into the room? You put their cell phone over there.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, like, yeah, if you actually think about it, just in having the phone there, all the networks of things. So he was big into, those are kind of energetic portals that, like, you're not only bringing it's not just a little box, because it's connected to everybody else's little portals, and he wasn't even being paranoid about the government or anything. He was just saying strictly this is letting in all of your friends from high school into our conversation, things like that.
And I think there needs to be like an awareness that it makes the other person feel unheard. I think that we keep hearing this as like a residual theme amongst our like just interactions, right? It's a big theme. People feel unheard. They feel like people aren't seeing them. It's like you hear that like catchphrase a lot. I feel unseen, I feel unheard. And I think it could be something that really like that's their like, gentle way of saying like, I'm being ignored by a tiny black box. We can't even have a conversation. My own children, right? Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, they see me looking at this phone. I'm not paying attention to them. Mm-hmm. So I think it might be something that's like really, even bigger than we realize in terms of people feeling ignored and unseen by a tiny black box. These are your loved ones. These are the people that like you would die if they weren't there. They're like your favorite people, and we're ignoring them to look at, our stupid screens.
One of my favorite poets, she said, the first and wisest thing I know is the existence of the soul is built entirely on attentiveness. I'll plug a Sea of Gold and Burgundy's album now, because I put that into one of our songs. But she was saying that the soul is completely built on attention, and then we've got these things that are drawing from an attention economy. And like that's how they even call it. Like they're trying to extract our attention. Mm-hmm. So then if you put it in those terms, it immediately becomes very Matrix kind of thing. Like we're the battery source that fuels the attention economy. It's drawing our attention into it and really building from it. It's quite a world we're living in.
Well, that's even like getting into like the double slit experiment in physics, right? That the wave collapses when there's an observer, right? And just that having somebody's attention just all of a sudden changes like the structure of matter, right? And then you think about everybody in the world, everything that we're focusing on, like that is basically the only thing that exists as far as anybody knows. And then when we all look away, that thing just stops existing basically, right?
Mm. Right, so it relates to the behavior of light itself, and it shrinks the possibilities of what kind of experiences we're gonna have if our attention is collapsed in one direction.
Yeah.
Those are big thoughts. I like the no, I mean, honestly, quantum physics and the philosophy around modern physics is one of the gateways for me to step into spirituality.
Yeah, totally.
I felt like learning about that, I had a skeptical mind, even though I grew up in a religious household. I wanted there to be some sort of possible mechanism for spirit or something before I would believe in it. And then through the philosophy of modern physics, it was like, oh wow, yeah, everything we're experiencing right now is mediated by light and electromagnetism.
Yeah.
And so like we're being informed, our entire moment is being informed by these physical entities, which, as you say, are changing according to how we're observing them, how they're perceiving them.
Yeah, and I like too that there's still there's still magic in it. There's still some kind of magic that we don't fully understand, and scientists are doing their thing and working towards it. But as far as we still know, there is this
unmeasurable,
this unmeasurable thing.
Yeah, I think that's kind of blends together, like the serendipity or fate with like the science behind it. You kind of want to find like a meeting in the middle point. Like you still want there to be something left to the imagination. We don't really know what's gonna happen.
Right. Yeah. There's still the mystery there, and it can. I've noticed that in physics they're even using the language of religion, like they're looking for the God particle. It's like, oh, okay, now that's where we're at. It's like looking for the thing that connects the fabric of the entire universe. It's like, wow, what a wild mission,
Finding God.
There's so often like presented that kind of false dichotomy between it's religion or science, and I think it's beyond that, because the very modern physicists are looking for the God particle. I mean, they're on the journey. They're all seeking for it.
Yeah. I think you're right. It does kind of swing back and forth. Like it looks like through like our history, we are swinging back and forth, right?
Like a pendulum. We're on a
like
giant,
those pirate ships at the
We're on a giant swing set.
Yeah. You don't know if one of the times is gonna go whoop.
Right, we're being swung around the sun, and we don't know if we'll be released at any point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At some point, we're gonna go woo.
When gravity fails.
When gravity fails, amazing.
That'll be the title for my autobiography.
Ooh, I
Gravity
like this.
fails.
Has that been a thought? You're gonna write an autobiography? Just now. Okay. He's growing a beard and writing an autobiography. You're gonna turn into your like 80-year-old self.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like. I feel like I'm growing into. I was always old, and I'm just growing into myself.
Yeah. You felt like an old soul. I would get behind that.
Yeah.
You always seemed very like calm.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Hilarious. So yeah, where are you working now? You're doing counseling?
Yeah, I work with the hospital system across the river, and I work with the hospital system on this side. So
across the river, like in the States?
In the U.S., yeah.
Come on. See, I know nothing about you.
Well,
I'm so glad we have this podcast.
And we live on the border here, and I'm a dual citizen, so it feels like. And that's where my dad grew up, just on the other side of the river.
Right.
So I've got that family connection to both sides, and so I work as a spiritual care provider. That's
spiritual care provider.
Yeah.
Can you just give us the definite, what's your actual, what are you doing on a day-to-day basis?
I mean, it's a
spiritual care provider.
The main role is providing spiritual and emotional support to either residents or patients.
Okay.
And so that's the main job. it comes with, like any other job, like an array of tasks. There's administrative stuff, there's charting, there's
Wow.
things like that. And so that's my day job. And I think we were talking about it, but I've found that music, my background in music has threaded its way. So I say that I'm at an intersection of spiritual care and music. When I was doing a residency in a hospital, I was really encouraged to bring music into the visits I was having with people. So I was surprised because it was just like, right, it was still late COVID, everybody masked and stuff. They're like, yeah, take your guitar, go sing
Go
songs.
sing.
And,
Yeah.
that wasn't the only way it came up, but it's definitely been a surprising part of my journey in there, because I might have had it in mind that, it's a more serious thing, things like that. But that's not how it was received. And I definitely received a lot of encouragement and songwriting and playing music, and just hearing about the way that songs register for people who are going through a moment of crisis. It's been illuminating, and it makes so much sense. It's like, yeah, I have songs for moments that were great. I have songs for moments that are terrible. And like, so
Yeah, and when those songs hit you at a terrible time like that, I'm sure it's a lot more impactful, for sure, right?
and it becomes a way of talking about the impact,
Yeah.
like getting into it, I think that's a way that art functions, is that it puts things that are hard to talk about into a way that's easier to share, and then opens up those places. So
Yeah, cool. That's really interesting. Is it like is it a specific hospital? So is it like it's a non-denominational thing, or do you need a knowledge of like a variety of different spiritualities and religions to kind of do that position?
I look at it as it's multi-faith spiritual care. I do work with a Catholic health hospital in the U.S., and then in Canada it's Niagara Health, which is more of a secular kind of perspective. So my approach is more or less accompanying people wherever they are. So it's kind of, I'll inquire and explore, and oftentimes people will share and let me in to say, like, this is where I am, what I'm going through. Sometimes it's related to, whatever acutely is going on in their physical world. Sometimes it's not, So my job then becomes to be like a traveling companion with wherever people are sitting in their world, whatever's on their mind, whatever's important to them. And then relating it, kind of reflecting it back, and helping them to navigate that frame of mind. As a songwriter, the most meaningful song that I've written in the past couple of years came from one of these visits. And I don't think I'm supposed to share it. I tried to share it at a songwriting club. I couldn't even find it. I don't know where it was, but basically a woman told me where she was, and she was in a place of rather intense grief. And she was being very generous in her language. Like, everything was spoken in metaphor. She was in quicksand. Her garden was dying outside her house. And it was just such a rich imagery that I went back to the office and I immediately put it into a lyric. And I was like, well, I have my guitar here. I'll put a melody to it. And I was like, well, I should share this with her.
Yeah.
I'll share it with her. So I went and reflected this back to her, and she was just like, I feel like I've been seen. I feel like I've really been seen. And I thought, good job. I did a good job. And then I went back in like 2 weeks later, and like the administrators at the place were like, we heard about the song. And I'm like, she told you about that? And then another person said, we heard about your song. And oh yeah, we hadn't seen her in that sort of spirit. So it was such an affirmation of like, oh, this is how my gifts in songwriting can be relevant in a place that I didn't think it would be. I didn't think it
Yeah.
would make sense. But, I was able to reflect back at her where she was. And then that helped her kind of in her moving through the heavy energy that she was in.
Yeah, it's so healing. I'm surprised that it would come to this long, because you grew up like in the church, and I feel like that's such like a powerful part of any of my experiences with church was like that. It was like that congregation of like sound and music, like coming together in a place where people are like at least discussing spirituality. I mean, in a church, it's an institution, right? It's a teaching, it's a theology, but I feel like, yeah, I'm surprised that it would take you to the like not just immediately assume that music would be like a healer in like a consultation, a spiritual consultant situation.
That's fair. Like I think maybe my skepticism was more that it would be received in an institutional setting.
Okay.
It's definitely part of the Judeo-Christian tradition where David plays the harp to Saul, and it helps him with his darkness, with his evil spirits or whatever he's carrying.
Yeah.
And so it is a part of the Christian tradition that I grew up in, for sure.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, that was a big part of the Perpetual Peace Project, was kind of music as this way of improving the quality of life.
100%.
The quality of community.
Yeah.
And
just like
and going through with that.
lifts you up, right?
Can do. And
Yeah.
and it can transcend some of the bullshit, pardon my language.
Yeah.
But like, that was something that definitely influenced the Perpetual Peace Project, or me thinking of that as a viable politic, was noticing how much people got encamped. And this was, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago. And I just noticed it in the way that language sometimes functions in municipal politics, is that people build these camps, or not, I said municipal politics, that's what I was noticing at the time. But like, the actual language of it becomes this kind of barrier to communication.
Yeah.
And so with music, it has this kind of transcendent quality and a primal quality. That's why rock and roll was so powerful. That, like, you just couldn't help shaking your body. Like, I don't know what's going on.
And they were trying to create a frequency or an energy to like uproar people. Right?
Who was trying?
Well, I think like the rock and roll community at the time. Are you talking about like 60s?
Yeah,
70s?
I mean 50s, 60s.
Yeah, I think
like
they were doing the same thing. Like they were, it was a time where like war was really prevalent, and that was the expectation. Like, your dads went to war and now you're going to go to war. And I think it was like rock and roll really was like a statement against the political situation at the time, right?
Yeah, it
like,
was a huge response to that. Like, Woodstock was a festival for music and peace, or arts and peace, and the entire scene that was coming out of the San Francisco area, they were very conscientiously trying to do collective sainthood. And we're talking about like the area that like Ram Dass, the spiritual leader, came out of. Jerry Garcia, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, there was an intentionality about it. Depends on who you ask as to what was achieved, but I think there was that awareness, or that thought put into it, that okay, if we can conduct ourselves in a certain way, then we can achieve some sort of community that doesn't go into warfare, things like that.
Yeah, it's definitely
a
a waking up moment, I think, for a lot of people, and I feel like that energy is always carried through into the next generations, and I think it's still there, and I would argue it's building since that point. But yeah.
I was just talking about it because the studio, I've taken a step back from teaching, so I'm only running the programming and building the community and building the studio and the business. So there is this part of me that's kind of like left yearning, where I used to I had it in a very systematic way. When you're teaching something, there's curriculum, there's lesson plans, like it's very structured, and the goals are set ahead of time, and you're working with the younger population. So now I've kind of gotten to this point where I'm like, oh my God, now I'm not like doing my own therapy because it's not built into my schedule. It's not built into my weekly like situation. So now I've gotten to a point where I'm like, oh, I need to like get out. And again, the ecstatic dance has been amazing for that. But also there is like this subculture, this counterculture coming up that's in like the rave scene. And like they're doing their own thing, right? Like regardless of, I mean, it all, it's different communities, but I think that might be like the uproar of our time. Is they're just like, no, we're not gonna do all this horrible, miserable things. We're just gonna like have fun. There's so much light and laughter and playful, and the colors and the neon lights. Like it's just it's wonderful. We've been to a couple like dance parties.
This is an example of like where you're seeing kind of the hopefulness and like kind of people having a cultural form that, I'll say it again, transcends the bullshit.
100%. I think that is like of our time, or maybe it's not our time anymore. Maybe we're old, but it's the generation coming up that like that's how they're using the EDM scene is just so like big and powerful, and like it's amazing. They come together in community and they're just like dancing their heads off, like all night long, just dancing like crazy until they drag their corpses out at 4 in the morning. I'm like, this is great. Like they're practicing this idea of like healing themselves through movement and music. It's great.
You're bringing to mind I forget who said it, but hard times require furious dancing.
Amazing. Oh my God, who said that?
We'll have to
I want
it
to
up
tattoo it across my back. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm curious, like where else are you seeing kind of examples that things are growing? More so out of my curiosity, like if you can think of stuff, because I need these examples to kind of like
yeah,
the art community.
It's hard to say. Well, yeah, it's always in the same places, music, art, and stuff like that. But I feel just like more people just have the knowledge of it, that there is this other option where before
it's happening in discussions. Yeah.
I just hear it more often of people that are, woke, or, well, I guess that has kind of a bad connotation now, but you're kind of just realize like, wait, like all the stuff that they're telling me, I don't think that's actually what's going on. And like, I have my own ideas that I've come up with that are, not just going with what I'm supposed to do.
Whatever narrative is kind of prevalent. Yeah. I think that is the original intent behind the phrase woke.
Yeah. Yeah,
seeing beyond kind of.
When it first came out, I liked the word, and then now it's gotten
slandered.
Yeah.
Now the assumption is that they're
and the irony is
subjective.
Like, seeing that they're intentionally slandering it is being woke.
Totally.
To it.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, they're trying to get people to fall in line.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Then whoever gets a hold of that, a trendy word is like, okay, yeah. We're all woke. How much does wokeness cost? How much can I charge to make you woke, Yeah,
exactly. That's the kind of poetic rule that if you repeat something enough, it loses its meaning. So words carry, energy. So it feels like the energy around the word is a bit troubled now.
Yeah. I want to really talk about this when we have your bandmates, but you guys just came out with a new album.
That's right.
You're so excited.
Do you want to get the camera out?
Yep. Show me.
Cool.
And we'll hook the link because I got it on Bandcamp as well.
We've got Monarch Mosaic. It was produced between here in Niagara Falls and Monterrey, Mexico.
Love it.
This is art by Cesar Peralta, whose art I saw on the last day that we were in Monterrey. Messaged him, and he was super cool about collaborating.
Yeah, because there's a music video now with all like a animation of his art.
Yeah, so he did the animation and like far exceeded our expectations about how the lyric video would turn out. And then this is us at Las Dunas Studios, and we were in Monterrey, Mexico, and a lot of people say, "Oh, it must have been so warm." But it was like the coldest stretch that they had. It was the same week that it snowed in New Orleans.
Oh my gosh.
And so we were actually...
that was a while ago.
This was a warmer day. This was in January this year.
Oh.
This was a warmer day, and we were at the studio, but they they're not prepared for winterish conditions. So like everything's like tile and concrete and stuff like that. So we were trying to spend all the time we could outdoors. And Alejandro got the picture of us. So yeah, it's a 8-song LP. We're proud of it.
So awesome.
We're grateful we get to make music.
Totally. We should get you to play something.
What do you mean?
Yeah, we started putting together like a playlist. Anytime we have a guest, they play something live off the floor.
If you want to.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought I was gonna hit it, Jake.
No.
Play Just Be. I mean, if you ask me what I want to play, it'd be like Just Be. Probably that's one of my favorite alphabet. But you want me to play something on the guitar or the mandolin or?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, whatever you want.
Pick your poison.
I guess.
Pick your weapon.
Guitar's probably easy.
Yeah, guitar. You got a seagull. I got a seagull.
Oh yeah. Is it a 12-string?
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
you got a 12-string.
It's a 12-string. Would you rather the ovation?
Well,
Invitation ovation?
I had no. Well, let me try the 12-string. I don't know. It'll be different if I can to tune it up. Cool.
Too busy talking politics today.
I strictly talk about politics. I don't.
No.
I just bring it on to Artistically Married.
It's okay. It was bound to happen. I want to talk about it, but I get why not.
Vote for Jeff Farnsworth for municipal councilor.
Oh my gosh.
He's promised everybody free lasagna.
I second it.
Free lasagna for everybody.
Is he gonna make it?
He will not make the lasagna. We will outsource that to imprisoned Italian grandmothers.
Oh my god. All the no-nos.
We're rolling? Okay.
Yeah.
This is a song called Snowy Streets. Know you snowy streets. Hate to say, but I think I know where you live. Lonely as ever before. Think I'll go knock on your door. Oh, you snowy streets, I've been down before. Waking up at 1 when my daylight's almost done. Wonder if you got my card to say what I said was hard. There's a girl here on the bus, makes me think a bit of us, makes me look out through the window at the snow. Oh, you snowy streets. I hate to say, but I think I know where you live. Lonely as ever before. Think I'll go knock on your door. Oh, you snowy streets, I've been down before. See what I can find to medicate my mind. Oh, the winter's just so slow. I'm moving way too slow. And I just wanna hide under blankets warm inside. Look out through the window at the snow. Oh, you snowy streets. I hate to say, but I think I know where you live. Lonely as ever before. Think I'll go knock on your door. Oh, you snowy streets, I've been down before. Oh, you snowy streets, I've been down before. snowy streets I've been down before. Okay, this was brought to my attention again by the fellow who runs the Niagara Poetry Project. He does a compilation of historical poetry, contemporary poetry, all with a Niagara theme. And this was inspired by Italian ice cream on Victoria Avenue. Italian Angel of Gelato. Italian Angel of Gelato, watching over me, a plea, a very simple plea. Don't you ever change what you do or the way you are. Italian Angel of Gelato, Saint of Christ, Christian spiritual warrior, Italian Angel of Gelato. We are part of something. We didn't know it until we were. We didn't say anything. No formal announcement, no insignia or trademark or logo. We knew it when we felt it. Looking into angelic eyes, high on the holy and saintly and wise, delving into life's simple pleasures and finding God there. Sitting back and listening and finding God there. Playing like children and finding God there. Sharing a drink and finding God there. Opening small doors with sophisticated handles and finding Tartufo as far as the eyes can see, the delicate look on the little girl's face as she touches her tongue to her first bite of strawberry ice cream. And to know the sort of spirit that went into it, it's like innocence meets innocence. And when they shake hands, there's a holy moment subtly happening. Hoping that time is a playful little child, laughing with her tongue out and minding not the least that gelato melts down her chin. She holds her spoon up in the air like a magic wand, waving her elated little hand for Mama to come and share in her treasure. And Mama looks right into her and makes a note to remember.
Love it. So cute. That's great. I know that gelato store. Yeah.
It's a good one.
Meanwhile, it's me just screaming at my kids that sugar's gonna kill them. That's the real poem. You're like, gelato, it's going to kill you. Don't eat it.
You're like, I forgot to tell you, we don't support sugar.
Yeah, you can't talk about sugar and politics on this podcast.
Sugar and politics. No swearing, sugar and politics. Screens. And you did all three.
Yeah,
you're fired. Times. You're canceled. Oh my God. You're off the podcast.
Oh my gosh. No, it was great. Thank you so much for coming. It was amazing.
Well, thank you for having
we can't wait. We're gonna have you guys back in the new year.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, you, Nate, and Burger. And we can talk about all things Sea, Gold, and Burgundy.
Cool. And by March, we'll have come back from Mexico. Hopefully, a successful trip tour there.
Where are you going?
Mid-February.
Okay.
To take the record that started there back there.
Oh, that's so awesome! He's gonna love that.
And yeah.
Amazing.
So we're talking March, and we'll come up with a date then.
Yeah.
Yeah, Aaron. I've got a cat, and we rehearsed yesterday.
Oh no!
And I was cleaning all day, and I must have put like the allergens into the air. And he messaged. He's like, I was up till 3 in the morning. I couldn't breathe, and then message again is just like, I still having a hard time breathe. There's no way I'm doing a podcast. Sorry.
Yeah. We got a son with cat allergies. It's a lot.
Yeah. And then Nathaniel has some sort of canker sore on his tongue that he's had for like 2 weeks now. And he's got like a steroid cream on it. But yesterday he was like, yeah, I'm trying not to talk. Wasn't singing during rehearsal. So,
oh my gosh.
So I thought like, okay, maybe it'll be Nate and I. But he's just like, yeah, I was planning on not talking very much.
Oh my gosh.
It's not really a podcast thing, is it? So
you're carrying the team, buddy.
That's it. Well, I mean, I had to wear my other identities of politician.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I feel like
Jeff Farnsworth.
I learned
for
so
mayor.
much about you.
Jeff Farnsworth for lasagna mayor of Niagara.
All right. Good night.
Don't forget to follow us on Spotify, and you'll never miss a podcast.
Good night. Have fun partying.
Oh my gosh.
First and wisest thing I know is the existence of the soul. It's based entirely on this, on our own attentiveness. Just breathe. Just breathe. They who bind themselves to joy do the winged life then destroy. But they who kiss it as it flies live forever in sunrise. In eternity. Go on and flutter by, butterfly. 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 First and wildest thing I know is the existence of the soul.